what's it like to come home, not only, on campus, but to have the concert tonight in Syracuse?
It's amazing, really. It's I mean, I'm on the radio in the States, and we're trying to plant the seeds and get that going. So to come back after 20 years, I've been back once in 20 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and not at all for 15 years. So a lot of things can change.
Yeah.
I mean, so to come back, like I took my wife to where I grew up in Pennellville, and we were just fascinated with the houses.
Did you go by where you used to live?
Yeah, we went to
the house still there?
House is still there. It looks a little bit different.
Yeah.
Went through the whole community. It's to be honest, it feels like I'm coming back. It feels like I'm looking at it through the eyes of someone from another country.
Sure.
It's been so long,
right.
But the things I'm looking at now, even though they're the same as they were, I'm looking at them with a different perspective because I'm so used to something else now, and I'm looking at the wooden houses and fascinated by them and the Halloween decorations, and it's like you don't get that.
Yeah.
Back in Europe, they don't do stuff. Americans do things on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating.
More commercial.
It's fascinating. Yeah, exactly. But when you're living in the States, it doesn't necessarily feel that commercial. It's just what we do. I mean, for some people, I suppose. But I mean, I remember growing up and living here, and I just remember for Christmas, every house had decorations. It was crazy, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And then I, moved to Poland, and they do not do that. And then it starts to feel commercial. And then I come back now, and it feels commercial, but I'm still fascinated by it. But the audiences, they're the same. They come and they know. A lot of them know the songs already. They're nice.
So when you started playing, did you ever think that you would be as far as long as you are right now to where you are today? Like, did you think it turn into? I mean,
That's a good question.
I don't know. Like, do you? I mean, for someone who's played professionally with some of the biggest names, you're in Europe. You just got done with the U.S. tour. I mean, for a 12-year-old kid from Pennellville.
But you know how it is when you're growing up. You think you're going to be number one. You think you're going to be.
But I mean, there must have been some moment. Like, I mean, now you're like, wow, this is kind of come together pretty nice.
Yeah. Well, that is really a good question because that also involves how the psychology of the boyhood dreams and now the realization of some of it. When you're coming up as a pianist, you're thinking you fantasize about Carnegie Hall and people standing up and screaming.
Yeah.
They don't do that. I haven't played Carnegie Hall, and I don't get audiences like that. But once you get up into your early adult years, you start to realize that just making a living as a musician is a real achievement.
Sure.
So I kind of once I hit about 20, 22, and I started thinking, this is really cool. I'm making a living as a musician because I'm looking at a lot of good people who are waiting tables part time
to support themselves.
Yeah.
To complete their dream.
Exactly, and you just keep fighting for it.
Right.
And then I had the period of 10 years ago I started being successful in the ballet music. I was playing for classes, and then I made 4 CDs of ballet music with an instructor, and that just about destroyed my hands. But I reached a pretty high level of work in that genre. So you're at a high level. You're playing in the University of Performing Arts and at the Scala and at the Gewandhausen, but you're not ever going to be one of these elite ballet accompanists.
Right.
And then there's that word accompanist. And then not only that, but you're behind the scenes. You're not on stage. You're in preparation. And then you start going, okay, this is considered success. And then one day you just go, I remember how much I loved writing my own, performing for the people, not just writing music for choreographers. I like being in front of people and talking to them. I just really liked it. And then I left all work with Sony Records. I wrote to them. I said, what is there any legal ramifications of me signing with another? And they were like, we don't care. So I signed with her and released the CD in last November, and it's just exploded. I mean, concert halls, charts, awards. And now. To answer your question, it's like now I think I'm probably the closest to what I would have dreamed about, and now I am the most humble because now it's just like I'm just so grateful because I've had the contrast of the craft work and the grunt work and then now it's just, I just write music and perform, and it's that's such a great thing, and to get feedback and awards and industry.
Be recognized.
Yeah, and it's like, look at me, and oh, you look good, and it's like, that's such a great feeling. So, but there's such a huge aspect of humility with it, because you never really feel you deserve it, because it's
We never want to take it for granted.
yeah, oh boy, I'm telling you. So no, it's the best. I say many times, the past year's been the best year of my life, musically and physically and health-wise and mentally. Everything's just wonderful. I really can't complain.
Congratulations.
I really can't complain.
That's great. That really is.
Yeah, man, I love it.
It's been quite a journey.
Yeah. Took a while.
Coming off the, not to, think too far ahead, but, coming off the success of the past year and, with the tour and stuff, is that where you feel like your future is heading? Is kind of like more composition, more playing in front of people? Like,
Yep. Yeah, I think the solo thing's, I think that's going to go on until I can't do it anymore. But I've got other interests, But I mean, the solo piano thing is there. That's going to be there. That's what I want. That's going to be the main pursuit. But it doesn't take 100% of my time. And when the set is done, like the songs like my concert set now, it's the CD plus the stuff I've got on the next CD coming up, and the concerts are basically the practice.
Right.
Concerts are the rehearsals, so I'm okay with that, and I'm working on stuff. But I've also got interest with choir music, and there's been a lot of real cool people that have wanted to do stuff with me, like collaboration, and we're kind of filtering through that, and so we've got a couple of ideas for the future. But the solo thing is that I want to be able to have some fun with stuff I'm really interested in.
So, one of the themes that I picked up on, through the course of the talk is just your interest, first your kind of first affiliation, with the church, and then kind of like your prolonged interest, with choir and stuff like that. What is it about the, I guess the sentiment of, your religion, your practice, that keeps drawing you back to it?
Wow. That's a question. You're doing good. You're professional. You grow up. Your mom tells you, what the Bible is, and your father's a Baptist minister, your uncle's a Baptist minister, and they want you to study something.
I know for some people though, sometimes that could turn some people off.
Yeah.
And it may be like too much, where like they feel they got to distance themselves. And whether you went through a period that you did, but it seems like you're, it's something that you keep, even though you've been a professional, it's easy for you to do that. Like you want to keep yourself involved in that.
It was such a big part of my life, and I've just had this searching. I've got more questions than answers, and the more I learn about God and the Bible and spirituality, the more questions I have. I'm just not seeing a lot of evidence of things. And then you have to, of course, there's a whole thing about faith.
Sure.
And it's for one reason or another, whether it's subconscious, whether it's ingrained in my psyche, whether it's just my upbringing and I can't get rid of it, it's there.
Right.
It's right there, and the songs address that issue very often, at least on this CD. I'm most inspired by the. I'm very influenced by the Baptist music, the gospel music. Yeah, it's just one of those things. I think it's just there.
My last one is really, what would be your advice to a young musician out there today? I mean, I know we touched on a little bit about how your progression and how appreciative you are, but what would be what would be kind of your advice to young musicians today?
I would say work hard, do what the teachers tell you, and do everything, but have plenty of time to pursue your own interest in it. But do not ignore what the others said before you did. Do not ignore that, and don't burn bridges. And pay respect to people, even if they had one hit song and they're a joke now. Always respect the arts. Always respect the people that made it happen, even if it's goofy. And that goes a long way, because people will want to work with you again if you've got the right attitude. I don't know if that makes sense.
No.
It's basically work hard, love what you're doing,
Sure.
and be respectful for the ones that had some success, even if they're in a rehab clinic now and they're a one-hit wonder, they made something happen that millions try and cannot do. Always to the perspective, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Perspective.
No, it makes total sense.
Yeah, and just be aware of what it is you're doing. That's something special. You're not working in an office 9 to 5.
Right.
You're playing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What's the anything else you'd like to add?
Oh, your questions were fantastic. That covered it all.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's I've had some practice. And,
I can tell.
We appreciate you, you know, coming out to, to talk to us. So.
Thank you. Yeah, great. Thanks
Yeah.
so much for having me.
No, anytime.